Hello and welcome to Teliax. In this video, we're going to go over the Ivy platform for customers. Now, you may be an end user who are trying to use Ivy to manage your own phone system, your phone settings, your voicemail, things like that. Or you could be one of our partners, our reseller partners, that is managing customers' sites for them. So either way, we're going to show you the customer side of Ivy and the different features that are available there. Now, once you're logged in to Ivy, you'll see it just like this. You see at the top, dashboard, account, billing, plan, and sites. So we'll start here. We are on the dashboard. We'll be adding more features to this as time goes on. Under account, we have users and settings, and we can create multiple users that have different roles, whether they are administrators or maybe they're just users who can do different things. We can set our billing settings, minimum balance, and our recharge preference, and our contact billing address. Now when we go to billing, we can see our recent activity, if we had any, our payments, statements, again there's not going to be any statements on this account, and payments, and this is where we set up our payments. So we can just add a credit card, put in the information for the card, and then we're good to go. And at that point we'll be able to actually make and receive phone calls. You can pretty much configure the entire system and then wonder why you can't make or receive phone calls. Well, it's because there's no payment methods. So there has to be a payment method in order to make and receive phone calls. So that's going to be important. Under plan, we have manage and rates. So we can pick different plans if they're available. So we can see what we have, what's included, different add-ons if we want. Normally, you're not going to be changing plans on somebody, but it's an option. And we can see the different rates that this person is being charged for the different services. Now, going over to sites. First thing you need to do is to add a site. I created this one, alien.voice.t2id.com, and we'll edit that site so we can see the settings. So we have our default caller ID name, caller ID number. Well, I don't have a phone number assigned to this one, so there's not going to be a phone number yet. The DNS extension, alien, whatever. See, it's alien software, so I just chose alien. That's where customers will go to log in, and that's where phones are going to register. The thin client right now is just Denver. We have some test ones, but that's the client that the systems use for the voice part of the communication. We're going to be adding additional thin clients, and down the road being able to put thin clients directly into a customer premise if they're a large enough customer. If there's a music on hold, we can play that. We have one right here. Kind of funky. We can upload new ones. And the access control list. This is very important. By default, this is disabled. So by default, no one can access the site. No one can register phones, nothing. You have to put something in here. Now in this case, I chose a single public IP address that all the traffic to this site is going to go through, and I have to end that with a /32 to say that it's a single IP address. I'm going to limit this particular site to 4 concurrent calls, and I have to specifically allow permitted outbound country codes. So here I've got United States. Again, by default, this is blank. So even though you might have the access control list, if you don't have any permitted outbound country codes, again, you're not going to be able to make calls. As soon as I click in here, it's going to give me a pop-down menu that is going to allow me to select different calls. So maybe we only send calls to Madagascar. So I could add Madagascar and the United States. Or I'm going to limit it to just the ones that are actually used by this particular customer or by myself if I'm the customer. So we've got our site. And the next thing we need to do is design our call flow. So here's an example call flow. We have a main phone number that goes to a schedule, so we can set day or night modes. If it's night, we may have a different menu there that just goes to voicemail. If it's daytime hours, we go to the day IVR, which then can go to ring groups, which goes to devices, which then goes out to voicemail. So you want to understand the features that are available within Ivy so that you can design how you want this call flow to work. And then when you're programming it, you do it all in reverse. So the things that are at the bottom, you're going to create first and then work your way back, because you have to have those destinations in place. Otherwise, you're doing a lot of going back and forth editing. So create a little diagram of how you want things to work and then program it exactly reverse of that so that you don't have to worry about multiple edits. So looking at Ivy, we can look at the different features that are available with this menu here. Conference rooms, devices, which are phones, E911, you set that up once per site. So if you're going to have multiple locations that each need separate 911 address information, you'll need to create those as separate sites so that you can assign the E911 to each site. Extensions, that's for calling each other. Fax machines, this is inbound fax to email. So you can set up a phone number, someone can fax that phone number, and then we forward that scanned fax to somebody's email address. Forwarding is taking an inbound call and forwarding it somewhere else, such as your cell phone. So you could have it forward to your cell phone during after hours or daytime hours, or however you actually work. You can set the system up to kind of track you a little bit doing that. Menus are recorded announcements, such as press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, those types of things. So we can add those menus in. A PBX sets up a SIP trunk for a customer premise PBX system. So you've got a PBX that's on a location. You don't need all the other hosted PBX features. You just need to give them a SIP trunk. You do that by setting up a PBX. A phone number, or DID, is going to be a phone number that you order from us that goes into the system so that when someone calls it, it can route around. Ring group is going to be a set of devices that are all going to ring when a call is sent to that ring group. The schedule, like I mentioned in that previous one, can be set for a day or night mode, a different message for holidays, those types of things where you want it to pre-schedule something different to happen than normal. And of course, voicemail boxes that will record the message that someone left and then send it to you via email. So let's go ahead and we'll start with voicemail boxes. And we'll create Joe Camel. Now the password is not being used today. This will be used later for being able to call in and listen to the messages, but that's not available today. The audio greeting
is available to take your call at the moment. Please leave a message at the beep.
So normally you're going to want to replace that audio greeting. Use something like Audacity or VoicePad or some other application to record those files, or have someone record them for you so they can be personalized for this person. Choose that file, upload it, and then we're going to set the email address to send those messages to. Oh, got to have a PIN number. So I'll just put in something basic for right now. And then I'm going to create another one. Sure, we'll use Bob Dylan again. And this will be bob at mydomain.com. Great. So now we can set up a ring group. So we'll call this sales. What's the timeout going to be? Now I usually do somewhere around 24 to 30 seconds. Remember, every ring takes about 6 seconds. So 24 seconds, it's going to be 4 rings before it fails. So I think that's a good amount. Okay, destinations. Well, we don't have the destinations because those have to be devices. God dang it. Time to back it up. Okay, next we're going to create devices or phones for these guys. So we'll have Joe desk phone. And by default, the channel limit is 1. That's 1 concurrent call. So normally I like to up that, depending on the phone they're actually using. Most phones can support anywhere from 4 to 6 or even 8 concurrent calls, which is usually a bit much. So I usually limit it to 4. And the login, again, we're just going to make these really simple. I'm not using real strict passwords or anything. So I'll call this Joe desk phone. And the password will be Joe desk HQ01. Again, the timeout on that, we'll make it 30 seconds. Where is it going to fail over? This is going to fail over to his voicemail. So if you call his device and it doesn't answer for 30 seconds, it's going to go to his voicemail. We can override the caller ID name, caller ID number, and by default, it's going to use the access control list for the site. So we'll just go ahead and leave that for now. We'll go ahead and create a device for Bob. Bob desk phone. 4 channels. Bob desk phone. Again, 30-second timeout. We're going to fall over to Bob's voicemail. Again, notice we can fail over to another phone if we wanted to, but for this purpose, Bob's phone will go to Bob's voicemail. Okay, so now we have these devices. I can set up a ring group. So I'll just call this sales with a 30-second timeout. I'm going to add Joe and Bob to this. And if no one answers, it's going to go to Joe's voicemail. You can see how this comes together. We have the name, the timeout, who is in this ring group, and where to go if the timeout occurs. So we'll go ahead and add that. Okay, next we can add extensions. So create Bob, and now let's look at the help real quick. There is help for everything. So to create a new extension, enter a name, a 4 to 12 digit number. It can also be 2 digits, but 2 or 4 to 12. You cannot use 3 digits as an extension. And then where to go. So we'll make these, make Bob 300, and Bob's extension will go to Bob's phone. Oh, see, I tried to use a 3-digit extension. We'll make him 3000. Go to Bob's phone. So you do get prompted when you make a little mistake. And we'll add another extension for Joe. And he'll be 3001. And that will go to Joe's phone. And we'll go ahead and add that. So now we have extensions. And Bob and Joe can call each other by dialing their extension. All right, what's up next? So we can create a conference room. And we'll just call this the sales conf. Now, eventually there'll be more profiles. Right now we just have the default profile. The PIN number, if you want to password protect it. The moderator PIN, so the moderators can have a PIN number that will give them different features. If you go to the help section on here, it tells you the conference room controls, moderator controls. So there's some features that you can use if you're the moderator. So usually you'll want to put a moderator PIN on here. So we'll just do Simple pin for the moderator. We can check the music on hold. Yeah, that's fantastic. There's no greeting, which is okay. We can upload new ones and then just select enter. Oops, it didn't take the pin because I got out of that. There we go. All right, so we're starting to build the system up here pretty good. We'll keep going here. We did conference room, devices, E911. I'm not going to go ahead and set that up, but I'll show you that it's the location, the caller ID name, address, house number, unit number, street, city, state, postcode, country code. So you want to make sure this is filled out for each site, but I'm not going to bother to do that for this one. Okay, extensions, fax machines. We'll just take a quick look. Name and notification email. That's really all it takes. So again, you can look at here, fax machines, enable this. You get a PDF to your inbox, and it's pretty simple to use. And then what we'll do, if you want to set this up, you get a phone number, and that phone number goes to this fax machine. All right, next up, forwards. So I can have Joe's cell phone, and we'll do a 30-second timeout, and 303-555-1212. And if his cell phone doesn't answer, then we will go to Joe's voicemail. You can see how to set up a forward. It's very simple. All right. So you see the status, it told us it was created, and then we have a negative balance because we didn't create a payment method. All right, well, last up here is, well, not last, we got menus and schedules to look at. So we'll look at the menu here. Again, we're working our way backwards, right? We created the voicemail, then the devices, the groups, and we keep working our way back. So we'll have our main menu, a PIN number, which can be used to call in and change the recording. So I'll just give it a PIN number. Notice there's 0 times, so there is no greeting on here, so you want to make sure you upload one. And then what happens when you hit different keys? So one can go to Bob's phone. If you hit 1, so Bob will be our operator. If they hit 1, hitting 1 for sales, we'll go to the sales ring group, or we can go directly to someone's desk phone, or even to voicemail or any other option. So we'll go ahead and save that. So we have a menu. And next we'll set up a schedule. So we'll just call this normal hours. And we are in Mountain Time here. And we work from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that's 17. Monday through Friday. Exceptions, I can go 12:25, 07:04. So I could go ahead and put in my holidays in here. And if this is a positive match, which means it's true, then we're going to go to our main menu. If this does not match, we will just go to Bob's voicemail. There we go. So we could have a completely other menu, another schedule. We could do all kinds of branching in here to come up with different things. Okay, so now we've got the schedule, we've got our menus. The last thing we need is a phone number. So we can order phone numbers, and we'll just make this our main line. And we can type in where we want to find this. So I'm going to say Denver. Oops. When I hit search, it's going to bring up a menu of the available phone numbers in Denver. So I can just pick a phone number here. Select enter. Now I'm going to have to go back and edit that phone number. So I have to scroll down to phone numbers, edit that, and now I can select the destination. So every person could have their own. It could be a direct forward to a cell phone. It can go right into a ring group, any valid destination, or a fax machine, one of those. So what we're going to do is we're going to send this to a schedule. So the phone number goes to the schedule, which decides which menu to create to start routing the calls. You see how that all starts coming together? Let me bring this back up again here. So the phone number goes to a schedule, which determines which menu to give, which can send it to a ring group, which sends it to devices, which then can send it to voicemail. So that's the whole process here of putting together a system within Ivy as a customer. So your customers can do this. You can do this for your customers. It's fairly easy to work with. It's just a matter of figuring out what that design is going to look like and then creating all the pieces to make it work. So we'll be doing more videos down the road to help with different features, explain things maybe a little clearer and more detail. But for now, this should give you a great starting point in how to get started with the customer side of Teliax's Ivy platform. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.